Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Daily Senior Safety Advice Podcast. I'm Esther Kane, a retired occupational therapist and a certified aging in place specialist. And I help families make simple, practical changes to keep older adults safe at home. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about creating a movement routine that you'll actually keep. This is to continue with March is Mobility and Independence Month. So I want to talk about a movement routine that you'll actually use. And that word actually really matters because most people don't quit moving because they don't care. They quit because the plan never really fit their lifestyle or their life. I've seen this so many times, even in myself. You get motivated, then you decide you're going to exercise every day, and you pick something that sounds really good on paper, and then life shows up. You get tired, you didn't sleep well the night before, your joint hurt, you miss a day, you say, "Oh, I'm going to rest today." And then before you know it, you're missing another day and then another, and then the routine is gone. So I want to take the pressure off right away. A movement routine does not have to be perfect to be helpful. It just has to be realistic. So what I've noticed over the years is that the routines keep that people keep are usually really very simple, almost boring, you might say. And that's actually a good thing because it's sustainable. One of the biggest mistakes I see people starting with too much. I've done that myself. You do something for too long or too intense, or there are too many rules attached to it, or you need too much equipment and the body pushes back, your routine pushes back, your habits tend to push back. So if movement feels like a chore, believe me, your brain will resist it every time. So instead of asking, what's the best exercise that I can do? I encourage you to ask a different question. What kind of movement fits into my day today? That question changes everything because now you're working with your life, not against it. Some people move best in the morning. You get up early, you take a walk, or you go on the treadmill or the bike. Others feel better during the day. Some do very well with short bursts. That's what I do. I do very well with 10, 15-minute bursts throughout the day. And others prefer one long, steady block. There's no right answer, and there's only your answer, and it can change from day to day. And here's something that I've learned as an occupational therapist. The body tends to like patterns. It's not about willpower, it's about patterns, about habits. When movement is tied to something that you already do, it sticks better. Doing a little 10-minute bike ride or walk after breakfast, that's a routine. That's a habit that you can tie to something you're already doing. Maybe something before you shower, maybe some yoga stretches before you shower. Maybe while the coffee is brewing, you can do some standing in place. I mean, walking in place. Of course, you're going to stand in place, but walking in place exercise. Maybe during a TV commercial, you can take a walk around the dining room table a few times. Those moments are all gold. You don't have to create new time. You just have to use the time within your day that already exists. That's usually when routines tend to last. I mean, I've seen myself keep a movement routine for months and months just by doing a few stretches at the kitchen counter in the morning, while the coffee is brewing. Same place, same time. It's not exciting, but it's very effective. Another thing that really matters is keeping your expectations low. Now, that might sound strange, but it really does work. If your goal is 30 minutes a day and you miss it, the routine feels broken, right? Sort of like, you're on a diet and all of a sudden one day you had a piece of cake and you're like, well, that's it. The diet is gone for the day and you go off the rails for the rest of the day. So if your goal, though, is 5 minutes and you do 10, you feel successful. So just like with a diet, if you only eat 1 or 2 bites of the cake instead of the entire cake or piece of the cake, you feel successful. And you keep the rest of the day on your diet. Success builds momentum, and momentum keeps routines alive. I always say, set the bar low so that you can step over it. Because once you start moving, it's often easier to keep going. And if you don't keep going, that's okay too. You still moved. That counts. So now let's talk about variety for a minute because your joints get bored too. You don't want to always do a bike ride or always do a walk, or always do the same exercises. Doing the exact movement every day can actually lead to stiffness or discomfort, believe it or not. So variety doesn't necessarily mean harder. It just means something different. Some days you could take a walk. Some days you'd be stretching. Some days it's just gentle strength work, maybe with weights or resistance bands. Even standing up and sitting down a few times counts. Movement doesn't have to look like exercise to be beneficial. It just has to get the body out of the same position. And here's something that families don't always realize. Movement routines should change. What works this month might not work next month. Energy levels change, weather changes, your health can change. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you're adapting. And adapting is success. Another big piece of this that you should remember is comfort. If movement hurts, people tend to stop. So pay attention to what your body is telling you. A little soreness is fine. That can be normal. But sharp pain is not. Movement should feel supportive, not punishing. If something consistently causes pain, it doesn't belong in your routine. And that's true no matter what anyone else says. I have a story to tell you. I used to live in a neighborhood where tennis was a big thing. I would go to some parties at night or some dinners, and I would see people hobbling about or with an ice pack on their knee as they were laid up on the sofa, or they'd be walking around bent over in pain. And when I asked them, "What happened to you?" they said, "Oh, I had to play tennis today." I said, "I don't think so. Your body, I think, is telling you something is off." "Oh, no, no. I mean, I have to work through the pain." That is not true. All you're actually doing is causing more damage to whatever it is that you damaged to begin with, a tendon, a muscle, a bone, whatever. If something consistently causes pain, it doesn't belong in your routine. And that's true. Again, I'm saying no matter what anyone else says. All right, I also want to talk about motivation because this comes up all the time. People say, "I just don't feel motivated." And I get it. I have a very hard time getting motivated for exercise or any kind of movement, honestly. But motivation usually comes after the movement, not before. So waiting to feel motivated often means waiting for a very long time, if ever. Starting small creates the motivation. Move a little, you feel a little better, and that feeling encourages you to move again. That loop matters. And if you're caring for someone else, this applies to you and to them too. Movement routines work best when they feel shared. Walking together, stretching together, standing up and sitting down together. That shared experience reduces resistance and it builds connection. I've seen caregivers feel less burned out just by moving alongside their loved one. Because movement changes mood for everyone involved. And here's a big one. Give yourself the permission to rest. Rest is part of any routine. Bodies need recovery, especially aging bodies. Skipping a day doesn't undo progress, it may support it. But skipping 2 days does not help. So speak to your physician, get a referral for a physical therapist, and get a routine going. Consistency over time matters more than daily perfection. And if you have somebody training you and helping you through the process, it makes it safer and easier. I want to say that again. Consistency over time matters more than daily perfection. If you move most days, you're doing great. And honestly, a routine you enjoy is always better than one you dread, right? If you hate walking, don't force walking. If you dislike taking exercise classes, then don't sign up. Don't sign up for exercise classes. Choose movement that feels natural or pleasant, and pleasant gets repeated. So if you're trying to create a movement routine you'll actually keep, start here. Pick one small thing, tie it to something you already do, keep it short, and let it change when needed. That's it. Take those instructions to your doctor, to your physical therapist, and they will tie it in to whatever exercises they provide for you that can fit your body, your needs, your abilities. There's no fancy plan needed, no guilt necessary, no all or nothing kind of thinking. Just look for movement that fits your life. And when movement fits your life, it tends to stay. Well, that's all I have for you today. I want to thank you again for being here with me. If today's episode gave you some useful insights or new ideas, then please share it with someone who might find it helpful as well. And you can discover even more expert tips and helpful guides for seniors and caregivers here at our website at seniorsafetyadvice.com. And if you're searching for an aging in place specialist or need some modifications in your home to make it safer as you age in place, then visit our website at aginginplacedirectory.com. And don't forget, come back tomorrow for more useful tips, insights, and ideas right here on the Daily Senior Safety Advice Podcast. And hey, listen, if you haven't yet subscribed to our YouTube channel or the podcast yet, then please go ahead and do that right now, because that really helps us to reach more people who could use this kind of support and information. So until next time, take care of yourself and the ones that you love. Thank you for listening to the Daily Senior Safety Advice Podcast.